podcast that asks the most important question: who gives a shit? Today we got the second of our new co-hosts, Flo Euphoria. Flo, and introduce yourself to everybody.
What's up, everybody? I'm Flo Euphoria. I had a failure of an internet show, of which my favorite guest was Adam from Houston. So at least I got that out of the equation. Anytime somebody asks me about it, I'm like, go hit up episode 17. It was a good one. And I tell that story about the crazy guy with the hot coins.
Yeah, that's a weird one. So, by all means, go run down Flo Euphoria's show. I know Flo Euphoria because you just dry hit me up out of the blue. Just snuck up in my DMs or like, hey man, I think you're cool, you're funny. And I was like, oh, thanks, man.
Seriously, the losers at Rich Dickman and NFHC just not even asking the right questions. Like, they got the iRobot experienced all wrong. I just want to have, like, the entertainment ability and the top awesome of Rabbitt here with the OG lore knowledge that Travis has, and then hopefully none of the attributes of CJ. That would be ideal. If I can bring all those three things to the table, I feel like
I've the criticism, my man.
Oh man, why you gotta be coming after CJ like that? That's cold as ice.
You're talking a lot of shit, man. You're talking a lot of shit.
I'm just jealous. I mean, I think that's mostly what it is, aren't we all?
Oh yeah.
You're jealous of a fucking cripple?
Well, the goodwill that CJ has, I gotta say, yeah, I can be a little jealous sometimes, because some people will definitely go out of their way to help the guy out, because he's a funny guy. He's a funny guy, gotta admit. Well,
anytime you want to just say something nice about somebody you don't like, he's a funny guy.
He is. He's legitimately hilarious. He's told me jokes that have like randomly had me chuckle weeks later. So, you know, he can be a little difficult to podcast with, yeah, because the dude's got legitimate drawbacks, and on top of that, he's crippled enough you just have to cut him an excuse every time. That's just how it is. So,
he's a protected class.
Yeah, he's a disadvantaged minority, man, and so am I, and so is Rabbitt. Yeah, what makes you a disabled minority, man?
Jewish.
Oh, shoot, I forgot about that.
Have you heard of something called the Holocaust? I don't know.
Oh, I never stop forgetting about the Holocaust.
Okay, thank you. That's all I need.
So, we're going to be talking about the Holocaust an odd amount for the, like, Godwin's Law is hitting kind of hard, this episode, because, oh man, we got some funny topics that just go back to people talking about cookies and Nazis and Holocausts.
And because we are an identity politics podcast, we brought in a Jewish man because we needed to get a Jewish man's take. We didn't want to, we didn't want to speak over, any of the voices of the Jewish community here.
Yeah, and we'll go. I guess we could go with allegedly Jewish if that makes you guys feel better. Whatever.
Allegedly, look, nothing's been proven here.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
What's your credit score looking like?
Oh, high 800s.
Oh shit.
What else would it be?
We might have something here. You never know.
Well, so let's get into the everyone's week. So, Flo, how's been your last month, man? How's shit been going for you?
It's been pretty good, you know. There's that constant struggle with substance abuse, but other than that, things are good. Actually,
the fun substance abuse or the shitty substance abuse?
Fun, but the thing is to not let it, you know, that line is very blurry sometimes. But I got my identity stolen, believe it or not. Here's a little PSA for all you guys. Make sure your cell phone carrier pin is not your birth year. Because if it is, like I suspect mine was, they'll port your number over and then just reset all your passwords with two-factor authentication. Which sounds like a safety feature, but is really a humongous vulnerability. Anyway, so that sucked, but it's kind of cool. It's like I'm getting a whole new identity, new bank accounts, new phone number.
So did you hear that, guys? It's very easy to guess people's cell phone PIN. So if you're looking to steal someone's identity.
And the fucked up thing is the FCC has a law or something that if they have the information that they have to release the number, and then it's on the other person to try and impede that process somehow. Which for me was on 12 o'clock on a Friday night, deep into those aforementioned substance abuse issues. So that was a lot of fun.
Oh shit!
Other than that, man, things have been perfect.
How was your Valentine's Day? How'd that go? What's the damage there, brother?
I forgot it even was a thing. You know, like I just profit off of those things. That's for you guys to participate in.
Well, thankfully I got out without it being that much of an issue. I am dating a sane person, and so when I said, "Hey, let's just act like Valentine's Day isn't, and we just do like what we would do on Valentine's Day on another day that's not like a fucked up day to be doing shit."
Oh, exactly.
And that was immediately, it was like, "Oh yeah, that's great." I'm like, "Awesome. Okay. Sweet." So I drafted some of the cardboard crack and on Valentine's Day, and then like went to bed early.
That's nice.
That's a little MTG draft.
Oh, I got back into the cardboard crack, man. I haven't been on it in a long time. God, I got out in like Time Spiral.
One time I was doing LSD and my friend came over and we started looking at the art on the cards. And he has since gotten really into Magic. He plays in tournaments and whatnot. I would know how to play, but I don't play a lot. But it's just funny how, just because I thought the art was cool, now this kid's really into it. And he's also, he's like, "No, I know it was a lot of money." He always prefaces stuff like that.
I think it's kind of fun to draft. It's something to do on a Friday afternoon to do with some nerds. And,
nerds are fun.
Yeah, it's a good way to, and on top of that, I like collecting cards. I like having my little binder of stuff, and I like wheeling and dealing and trading with people. So,
they're fun. Sometimes they're fucking assholes, and they're jealous of others' charming features and success.
It brings out
they
the
really
worst
hate
in
it when
people.
you're a sexy bitch.
And one of the bad things about Magic the Gathering is it makes people that wouldn't be thieves suddenly think about being a thief. Like the type of person that wouldn't mind swiping a pack of gum doesn't mind swiping someone's fucking Magic the Gathering card because that concept of value doesn't click, even though they're walking off with like $40, which is like enough money where you should you could beat someone's ass over that. Where you're like, "Hey, motherfucker."
They can walk away with $200.
Oh, eat more. I've seen people walk off with people whole trade binder, and there's probably like $700-800 worth of cards in that bitch.
Imagine if the people that are flash mobbing these stores buying this merchandise knew the value of trading card games. They would run in there and just take everybody's shit and run out the door.
I was hearing one of these guys' YouTube channels. He's talking about all his bank safes that he uses inside of his storage warehouses, because he just has a bunch of sealed product put up, but he also buys a bunch of these old vintage cards, and he buys enough of them to the point where he can affect the market value of how much these things sell. And basically,
who is he? Martin Shkreli?
No, it's Rudy.
You know, Shkreli was doing it though, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, imagine this. It's a collectible. So there's no Security and Exchange Commission. It's not even real. So, but it's a big enough game where if you can aggressively throw money in it and trade it like stocks, you can basically kind of be like a robber baron of the collector world and just kind of make free money. This dude does it all the time.
And then there's the scammers that buy, other side of the market. It's a crazy world, the TCG crowd.
Oh, man. So Valentine's Day was a weird day for me. I saw a cop eat shit on my way to work. I'm just driving coming out the neighborhood. It's a two-way road. It's 30 miles an hour, but there's a cop in front of us that's going 37, almost 40. So he's dictating the pace. Everybody else is going the speed of this dude. and for whatever reason just veers off to the left. There's a fucking concrete divider, like an honest to God fucking curb, and it just goes blah, just plows into that shit, like busts the wheel off of his fucking like rim. And I'm like, oh, what the? And I'm on my way to work. This is like the first thing I see in the morning. Like, I barely have a cup of coffee in me.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, oh, like, and man, it's fucking early as fuck. I'm still defrosting my windshield, so I didn't get the best look at it. But man, you can see those fucking lights just jostle around, and you can hear it. And I'm like, oh, and I knew it was a cop. And I'm just like, oh, dude, happy Valentine's Day, bitch.
Slow rolled past and packed the blue, dude.
Yeah, it was the car right in front of me. I had a front row seat to this shit. It was amazing.
Fuck cops.
Yeah, fuck the police. That's hilarious.
From the under.
So Rabbitt, you got anything interesting going on with you in the past couple of weeks?
Oh, I haven't really been doing much of anything. There was this fat chick I was hooking up with that not hooking up with anymore. She shaved her head afterwards and got a really fucking ugly hat that I laughed at.
Hey. Dude, you know when women shave their head, never a good sign. You encourage
I'm like
much emotional distress on her.
Right. Oh, there was this other time. This chick was like, "Oh, come over." I'm like, an hour away. So I was like, maybe, no, obviously. And she's like, "Come over." So I was seriously, I was considering it because it's just along one highway. I know the drive. It's a quick drive. So I was like, fucking, I don't know. I ain't doing shit. But I didn't do it. I ended up not doing it.
Yeah, dude, an hour's pushing it, bro.
Yeah. And then she starts posting like the day later, like on fucking Twitter, just like, my brother and his girlfriend just had the worst fight at my house. They just broke up. They were screaming. I was just like, I would have been in the fucking middle of that. Thank God. Did I tell the story on your podcast already, Adam? I feel like I did. I've definitely told you this, I feel.
Yeah, you've told me. I don't think you've told this on the podcast. Yeah, talk about an awkward situation.
Dodged the fucking bullet, honestly.
You would just be out a fucked up. Yeah, you would just be wasting 2 hours of your life on the road, and then like an awkward hour and a half of like a settling in, get to know you sort of weird situation before you just got to bounce the fuck up out of there.
Not worth it.
Gas prices in Biden's America.
With gas prices these days, I mean.
You got it, buddy.
Yeah. Oh, I was talking to Flo about how my car is still in the shop.
I've been hearing about this fucker's car in the shop for like 2 years.
It's been okay. I got this car back for like a month.
This is some like 1984 constantly at war type shit. Like, you always have a car in the shop just to maintain the aesthetic of having a car in the shop.
Well, like let's get down to numbers, bro. The bigger turbo, how much more power are you getting? Well, I guess you're getting the head.
Okay, so I can push it to the point where I'll start stretching the head studs on this thing. So if the engine can handle probably about 650 wheel horsepower, but the transmission will give out before then. And the transmission really starts giving you problems at about like 550. So I'm tuning it back to about 500. So really I'm overshooting the power output of this thing by quite a bit. And any more power than that, it starts getting like stupid expensive. Like I've done everything else to this car other than the power stuff. So I'm finally doing that because it ends up that my exhaust guides on my valves are all fucked up. And I got a botched tune on this thing. And they Captain Genius didn't use the right flex fuel sensor and never even put in a temperature control sensor. So anyways, I got this handled right by a nerd. And so when I get this thing back, it should be, it's like 640 crank horsepower. That's like the same as like a modern McLaren. And it weighs about the same.
How much power did it have before this?
It felt
when you had it for about a month.
It felt pretty good. I had about like 400 and like Like it was, yeah, it was
I
about like
might have done the
400.
same thing. I don't know. But after not having it for so long, I would have kept it out for maybe
But that was
6
also
months.
like 400 crank horsepower. So I had like 357 wheel. And when it was working, it felt
Yeah.
great. And now I'm getting like 150 more horsepower than that. And if this thing is actually put together right, this is where the horsepower range this car was designed to perform.
Right on. And also, if it had a fucked up tune from the guy before, then if it's inconsistent or whatever.
Well, they just never comped for, they just never figured out that it was the flex fuel sensor on top of like an exhaust valve issue, even though I told them that could be an issue. But whatever, what do I know? I just own the fucking car. Mm-hmm. So, anyways, let's get off into the show. So, Flo, yeah. So, what do you got for us this week? What's something that you're bringing in?
Adam, I was like 2 seconds looking for the car talk theme.
Oh, the car talk.
It's gonna drop that in on you there.
So, Louis Theroux. You guys familiar with Louis Theroux?
Sure.
So, not by name, but I know this dude's face.
Yeah, he's an English documentarian. The United Kingdom is God's most hated island, and their politics reflect that. You can get arrested for leaving a bacon sandwich in front of a mosque or teaching a dog how to do a particular trick.
Yeah, I heard about that.
You can get removed from the internet for having friends. I miss him so much.
Oh, rest in peace to all the fallen. That's for sure. It's places where people like Sargon can actually make their way into politics and destroy it from the inside with cuckery. But Louis Theroux is making. He's got a series going on called Forbidden America, and on the first episode, he wanted to do people that were far right, but also online. And you've got a lot of examples of this. The title is Extreme and Online. It's so ridiculous.
I'm also extremely online.
They showed footage of Baked Alaska taking calls out of
Nancy Pelosi's phone.
Yeah.
So he had on a bunch of people. I remember Nick Fuentes is another person he covered. Almost the first half of the documentary was about him. And it's interesting because the guy's name is Nick Fuentes, and he's supposed to be a white nationalist.
White nationalist.
So
the guy
Nicolas Fuentes is a white nationalist.
He does look like a white nationalist. Man, his name says Fuentes. He's about as Mexican as Beto O'Rourke.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
so,
I mean, well, who cares? I mean, everybody's going to be brown one day. So
what's Beto's real name? Kyle?
Robert Francis O'Rourke. Yeah, Francis. Fucking Francis.
So I remember when Nick Fuentes was having AFPAC 2, which was, they were having it in the same location and time as CPAC, the Conservative Political Action Committee. Yeah, Nicolas Joseph Fuentes. Nicolas Joseph Fuentes. Yeah, in his Wikipedia it says, has described Fuentes as a white supremacist, so there you go.
It's weird how they try to latch on to showing how alt-right Nick Fuentes is. Like they try to clip this guy to make him seem like he's a real menace and make him white people feel emboldened about being white or something. But they don't show the clips where he's like getting gay with Catboy. Like they don't understand what the online space is like.
So I remember when Louis Theroux was allowed to film at AFPAC 2, and a lot of people had a problem with that because it was a closed event. They had to, verify your identity, which a lot of people also didn't like because a lot of these people happened to be anonymous. And for the aforementioned reasons of Catboy gay allegations, a lot of people think that he might not have the interest of the true patriot at heart.
Right.
Yeah, if any of you guys know Catboy Cammy, he's just a swell guy. I really, unironically,
well-known homosexual.
I've watched Catboy Cammy live just for the novelty of it, but some of his recorded videos are quite entertaining. As a societal criticism, if nothing else. But he had like a 6 or 7 hour date, what can only be described as a date with Catboy Cammy. A girl recently super chatted into his show asking him for a date or something like that, and he went on a 15-minute diatribe. Like, do I look like the type of guy that would date a girl from a super chat? I'm a little bit more complicated than that. I'm a little bit more eccentric than that.
I'd rather date a
gay buzzwords or
boy
what?
from a super chat.
Yeah, it was a crazy. Do I look like somebody who just wants a trad wife? And I was like, isn't that the point of this whole thing?
Yeah, he does look like the type of dude that wants some weirdo trad wife that ends up being some pedophile.
But like, yeah, a lot of people didn't like the fact that Louis Theroux was there, and the AFPAC 2 stuff was kind of inconsequential because the meeting in general was pretty cringe. Like, in the live stream there was a banner that had a spelling error on it and just a whole bunch of amateur shit. So then after Nick Fuentes, he talked to Beardson Beardley, who is just
what a fucking name.
He's the soyest boy that you could imagine, like a America First Fortnite gamer, that kind of guy. It's so funny because Louis is interviewing him, and the whole time Beardson has a Louis Theroux t-shirt on. And eventually, this is what they always do. They always say, I want to know about streaming, and I want to know about America, and this and that. But what they're really there to do is pull up a video of you shooting off 2 Nazi salutes in the shotgun seat of a convertible car driven by Nick Fuentes. So he pulls that up, and Beardson gets all mad, is like, I need you to leave, and kicks him out of his house and all that. So that didn't really look good. Then Sid the Sloth's distant relative, Brittany Venti, comes on the scene. For some reason,
wait.
Yeah,
I didn't see Brittany Venti in this shit. When did Brittany Venti suddenly fucking big ass her floppy tits on the suit?
Yeah, I was gonna, dude. She's like kept putting on sunglasses.
When did Venti flop into the scene?
Sunglasses. I'm surprised Louis Theroux could survive with the aroma of cat shit permeating her apartment. She made him tea in the microwave, which has got to be just the most American thing you can do, right?
To a British person? No, that's exactly what you should do. Make them fucking tea in the microwave. You're like, here you go, bitch.
Yeah, maybe it is worth it.
Fucking like
if you want a coffee, I'll make it in the machine.
Make your stance known. So she was actually, believe it or not, the most logical person trying to give a delineation between irony and people saying stuff just for the sheer fact that they're not allowed to say it. And that's what people, just shock comedy and that sort of thing.
Right.
Then after that, it was Baked Alaska. I hope I'm not missing something. But yeah, Baked Alaska. They walk around. He spent 3 days with Baked Alaska, if I know correctly. And on the last day, Louis like, okay, I've been chasing this guy with a loudspeaker around his neck, blaring racial slurs and getting into arguments with people while wearing these huge reflective sunglasses. And so he starts finally laying the hard questions on Baked. And Baked kind of has a similar reaction to Beardson, but you would expect that sort of thing from Baked Alaska. He stormed the Capitol on January 6th. A lot of people think he's either the term Fed gets thrown around a lot in my circles, and whether he works for them directly or he ratted on a bunch of people to not be in jail like all the other ones that are right now.
He's got money, right?
I think his dad did something.
Look, but we got to pay to play legal system. He either knows somebody or he's got some money. That, generally speaking, that's what it is. It's not like he knows important enough people to roll on that it matters. That's what my logic points towards from having gone through the system myself.
Then again, they don't really need they don't necessarily need good information, to operate on.
Who the fuck cares about Baked Alaska? I'm more triggered that they got Brittany Venti involved. Like, because there's just something about that chick that bothers me, man. Her eyes are like so wide apart. It's like she's always scanning for predators or something. Like, there's something just off about that bitch.
Her and I, like, we don't see eye to eye very often, and it's kind of frustrating.
No, not at all. And the people that like her, there's always like a random Brittany Venti simp that's just like lurking right around the corner, like someone that you'd never expect. That's like, oh, you ever heard about Brittany Venti? It's like, oh no, you better not say one fucking. Can we lay off her?
I mean, she's doing the best she can.
I mean, she was at the first "We Will Not Divide Us" thing. That's pretty. She was at Charlottesville. I mean, kind of based, but
she's not completely worthless. But the way that people simp on her, really like the degree that some of these dudes do it, and how they hide themselves amongst normal people bothers me.
Oh yeah, you'd be amazed at the degree of separation.
Dude, anybody walking around, anybody that you see throughout the course of a day could be a Brittany Venti simp, and you just don't know.
Oh, God, it's going to bother me for a while. So
but I tell women all the time.
So this Louis Theroux guy, like, do people really care about this documentary? So here's
the thing.
Isn't this just some Eurofag being a Eurofag on America?
Typically, yes. And I thought it was interesting that there wasn't a lot of internet activity from people on the right talking about this, because it was so hilarious at some points. The people that I was watching it were thinking that this might actually help some of these people's online profiles, because they aired this at like 9 o'clock on BBC Two. So there were a lot of people that would have been at home, watching BBC Two. Or I was, like I said, how boomers in this country have Fox or CNN playing in the background just all the time. And you start hearing, one of the super chats was like, we don't like Neighbors and Friends, not because it's a human to human issue, more like a human to subhuman issue. And I was like, yeah. Baked Alaska was live streaming when he was with Louis with TTS on. So people were bringing out the big gun super chats.
Oh my God, that's pretty funny. Well, let's get out of talking about Louis and into talking about horse penis enthusiast.
Nice.
Okay, so
yeah, this is why we're here. This is why I'm here. So what do you need to know, Adam?
Okay, so who made this video and posted it on YouTube? Dave Chappelle Was Framed. Who do you think made that?
Dave Chappelle.
Horsecox. You got two. It's really a 50-50.
It's a horsecock enthusiast that posted this video. That's the hint that you're getting. Two people
on YouTube really enthused with horsecocks, and that's basically their whole identity.
Lady Catherine.
Wow.
It is not Lady Catherine. This is Vaush. So what do you... Hey, Flo, Euphoria, what do you know about Vaush?
Vaush and Cenk Uygur. It's 50-50. If you tell me horsecocks, I've got like two little thought bubbles.
I don't know what's with those dudes and horsecocks.
Dude, Cenk Uygur is insane.
Genocides, right?
Dude, Cenk Uygur and Vaush have a very strange Venn diagram that overlap. Like a very strange Venn diagram. I
don't know a ton about Cenk Uygur. I've never really explored a ton of his content.
So he published a bunch of stuff in some early newspapers denying the Armenian genocide. And then what was it? Just like fan fiction he had written?
Dude, he's like a crypto corporate Democrat. Bill O'Reilly. That's the best way I can describe this guy.
The guy that I have fix my car every time is also a Armenian genocide denier.
That's so funny, dude.
I learned that in the second conversation I ever had with him. He denied 2 Holocausts.
My God. Dude, the Armenian genocide was a really bad genocide. It's funny that...
Well, he's Turkish.
Obama didn't even call it the Armenian genocide until Obama. Nobody referred to it as that.
So let's talk about Dave Chappelle. So I'm still a little mad at this guy for taking a picture with famous wife murderer Patton Oswalt.
Oh my God. What a sicko.
Yeah. So, but Other people have a different take on that interaction, and they say, "Oh, no. We are mad at Patton Oswalt for having taken pictures with this transphobe." And so Dave Chappelle is like immediately persona non grata. He gets brought up in the news, and people like Vaush have a take on him, something like this.
This is indeed a capital strike. An example of single people with incredible power and wealth using that leverage to undemocratically affect the behavior of their adjacent political developments, which is not great.
So Dave Chappelle is putting $64 million into this tiny little town that he lives in Ohio. And there's this housing development that's going up that's worth like $24 million. And they want to do some fuckery. And Dave Chappelle goes in front of town hall and is like, "Why are you making me get up here? Fuck you. I will pull all this money out if you don't fucking put the kibosh on this bullshit, like change that they're doing on this housing development."
Fuck yeah. Hell yeah. Awesome.
And, but the way that we pitch it makes it sound good. Now, the way that the news pitches it, they say that Dave Chappelle threatens to pull money from the town if they continue forward with affordable housing. Yeah. The news is fucking smearing his ass.
Is it meant to be? Was it an affordable housing development?
No,
Allegedly.
No,
I mean, that's what they tried to spin it as, but totally not.
Yeah, this is 100% a company being a fucking scumbag. So they got this housing development that was supposed to be just a bunch of single family houses. Right. All right, that's sort of what the town wanted. Well, now the housing development, they want to change it to make a bunch of like duplexes and townhomes that have like, one house that has like 4 families in this bitch, so they can try to get more cash per acreage out of this thing.
Right, yeah, square foot.
And they're going to set an acre and a half aside for affordable housing to get the tax break for building affordable housing, even though they're not building it themselves. They're just leaving the land behind so that someone somewhere at some point can develop it. They're not even doing it.
They're taking a measly acre out of their land to go, that's our affordable housing tax break land.
Yeah. And we're also going to use that to not build as many regular single-family houses, but build more duplexes and townhomes. And the town didn't want that to begin with.
And Dave Chappelle, we just wanted to start with these.
Not to mention that on the sly, that Dave Chappelle's name was used to hawk the marketing for these houses that they're trying to sell. Oh, not directly, not anything that's like actionable, but a reasonable person would understand if something like that happened, on accident, of course.
Right.
So, anyways, Dave Chappelle's pissed. And so people see this video and they're like, "This is so strange. Like, why doesn't this add up?" Like, people can't exactly even decipher what he's talking about. He's like, "Why are you making me audition for this town?" They're like, "What the fuck?"
Dave Chappelle, generally an asshole. Don't get me wrong. Maybe Dave Chappelle only got angry because he felt like this would just be another homogenous dipshit suburban sprawl that was marketing itself as being sustainable because they set aside 2% of their available developing land for affordable housing development that they weren't even going to fund themselves. They were just going to leave 1.5, acres of land to a patch of grass to just, whatever, maybe in the future they'll build something,
Oh, Adam's stealing that line exactly verbatim.
Yeah, that's, I don't know if I did it verbatim.
Rabbitt.
I mean, it's not like it was a unique thought that went out there. As soon as people started looking into it, it's like, oh, well, wait a minute. Because people want to go to bat for Dave Chappelle in general. Because he's a likable guy. He's made funny things, He made the blind Klansman that was black, That means you give him the benefit of the doubt. And, but seeing people actually give Dave Chappelle the benefit of the doubt and then, realizing how hacky the whole fucking news cycle is, it was really satisfying to see. Like, here, check this clip out.
This was insanely bad reporting? Yeah, it was, actually. Actually, wait, hold on. These news stations are like completely misrepresenting the issue. We actually outdid the journalists here. Holy shit. Okay, yeah, no, Dave Chappelle's in the right here. I'm not saying he's like good person or whatever, but on this issue, the reporting here is not representative.
Vouch, dude.
Yeah. Oh, and I do love the self-aggrandizement thing. That's like, oh, we scooped the news, everybody. We're better than the news. We did it, chat. Poggers.
Yeah, we did it, chat. I just realized that I was wrong, and I saw a fucking safe path out.
Real quick, can you guys navigate to the show submissions portion of the subreddit or subreddit? Good God, the Discord.
How fucking dare you? Yeah,
So,
what you got?
Adam, you might know there's a famous picture that is associated with Vouch. Are you familiar with such image?
Oh man, maybe. What?
Okay. Well, I don't think Rabbitt knows, but here's a little treat for both you guys.
Oh yeah.
boy.
I'm familiar.
Oh boy, hubba. Who is that cutie patootie?
I think she's single now, dude.
If she ain't 280, she ain't my lady.
I'm
is all
really-
I'm saying.
God, that's terrible.
We love
Only
Vouch.
dogs like bones. Real men love meat.
Oh God. You know what? Let's jump out of this right now and into
Get outta here, Vouch.
voicemails.
Let's jiggle on
Hi
out.
guys, this is Charlie.
Having my mouth and anus aggressively penetrated.
With voicemails. By all means, give us a call at 281-747-6015 and tell us who gives a shit. So let's play our first.
How does your anus get penetrated by a voicemail, Adam?
Man, some of these voicemails can give you a visceral response in your anus.
You know, I gotta say I've puckered at a couple.
Yep. Let's see if these
Bluetooth
are,
speaker.
Yeah, here we go. Let's see what we got.
Hey, you know Dave Portnoy, the pizza review guy? Maybe some of you don't. Maybe you know him
I
as
know.
Barstool Sports. Well, this is a fucking lesson, right? A lesson that's been taught over and over again. This motherfucker, 3 weeks after I started watching this fucking guy, he decides to put himself in a situation where he's getting Me Too'd. Now, I'm not going to say whether or not any of this shit's true, but it's kind of pointing in the direction that it might be. But the thing is, like, fuck me, dude. I just
What an
started
asshole.
watching this fucking guy, and he's already getting canceled? Shit.
He makes a halfway TV show and he has to go and
Thing
put his
is,
finger
this
Son
in
of
the
a
is a
bitch.
lesson that everybody should learn. Don't use clout to fuck. Never. Never. You gotta have
I got
a little bit of charm. Never,
What?
ever use a clout because
Yeah, I don't even
that's
know
gonna just
exactly
cause problems
what I would
later on.
do.
It always backfires. 100% of the time, it backfires.
Wait, isn't that
So,
just a
TJ,
relationship with a
Adam,
woman?
Never,
What, backfiring?
ever use
Yeah.
a fucking clout.
Yeah.
Never ever say, I have a podcast in case this fucking thing blows.
Oh, yeah. Never say you have a podcast.
Never.
Oh,
That's
no,
great
I-
advice.
I say
I-
horrible things
sure
on
you
this.
guys
This
know.
isn't even
I
tied to
do.
my
I
idea.
mentioned that I have a
Smart
podcast.
fellas.
I just say that I won't. I just won't tell them
Holy
what it
fucking
is.
shit.
That's funny.
I'm just
Okay,
like, no,
well,
this
that's-
isn't
Bill
the time.
O'Reilly paid some bitch $32 million.
I think this all leads to
for a
who gives a shit about your
non-disclosure
clout. Just maybe be better with chicks, right?
Yes, Bill O'Reilly's
Also, don't
sexual
give out your
harassment
fucking name.
tendencies helped me win an argument
Come
and
up
show
with a
that he
fake
wasn't
name if you
racist
got
because
it,
he
but
called a
man.
black chick hot chocolate.
At the rate that people are getting Me Too these days, fucking Vinny Vine sauce, when everybody's goddamn certain he didn't do anything, still causes such a fucking impact. Like, I'm not going to be surprised this guy's fucking career is just ruined.
Yeah,
So-
treat everything like you're Mike Pence. Have the
Never.
door open, hover
Never give
hands.
This
your
guy's
name.
still
Never
going on?
ever say I have a
Yeah,
podcast
Yeah,
or
he's
whatever.
got a lot of wind in him.
concise.
He's,
Do not. You are fucking Pizza Parker. You're Pizza Parker from here on out to anybody that
are you
ever
driving?
fucking
You
asks.
certainly should have put your
Same
phone
with
down
me
by
if I
now.
ever make it big. So, take it easy,
Well,
guys.
okay, I think the message is if you get famous, don't use it to fuck someone, even though that's the
Well,
whole point that people do
yeah.
it in the first place.
Whole point of
Okay,
being
here's the
famous.
thing. Like, I don't know, before, like, if you're using clout, make some chick prostrate in front of everyone in front of you so that she can't say that, like, people didn't know or something.
Yeah,
I don't know.
have a witness. But when you're as famous as Dave Portnoy, that's almost
Yes,
not going to be
threesomes.
possible.
Have a witness.
But yeah, you could have a consent form or something like that. If I was famous, though, I would be using like government connections where
To have them killed
Yeah,
afterwards.
if you're
Exactly.
famous,
Yeah,
It's
killed,
just so
supplied,
easy.
whatever. Containers of women, Rabbit.
Just tag them and bag them.
Back in the good old
right.
days.
So the same guy calls in again and continues
boy.
on at the voicemail. Okay, here we go.
Hey guys, Blackbird here. I just wanted to pop in and say you absolutely missed an opportunity to call that last episode Whoopsie Goldberg.
Maybe.
Yeah.
That exact joke was floated out there, and I've heard it floated out there, and I was kind of like, like, I thought about it, but I just thought it was a little bit too corny. The stolen Goldberg was something that just kind of flew off the flywheel, and it's kind of funny, because, yeah, she straight stole the Goldberg.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, let's get out of voicemails and into
Blackbeard.
the last
Let's
Black
leave
bread.
some
It's
stuff.
black bread.
Black bread. Let's leave some stuff on the editing room floor, buddy. Write yourself a script. I'm just kidding. Thanks for calling in, dude.
Okay, so let's talk about what's the last thing you got for us that you're bringing in, Flo?
So there was a game called Martha is Dead released, I think, over the weekend, and the Sony is having to censor portions of the game and re-release it. And so, you know, one of the more graphic scenes was you take a razor blade and cut someone's face off really slowly, like very slowly.
Oh, like all
And,
fucking like Hostile style or something, all Saw style.
Yeah, exactly. But I thought it was very cinematically powerful because it ties into the story. And this is not a game where you go around choosing to cut people's faces off. It's one of those more cinematic video games.
Wait, so regardless of what happens, are you cutting off some bitch's face?
Oh, well, it's Martha's. Keep in mind, Martha's dead. So this person isn't alive and suffering. This is, you know, if I'm dead and somebody wants my face, by all means. Like, you know, if I ever end up on one of those websites, like, of which I think the YNC is one of the only ones left, I just want to be unique, you know, something creative. If I get beheaded, I want a guy with good technique, like ISIS technique or like Los Zetas cartel technique. None of this, you know, South American bullshit. In any case, Martha's dead, and it was just part of the story. But I mean, who gives a shit about violence in video games anymore?
People cared that because the company was like directly like censoring the game. I guess that's where people draw the line.
Dumb cracker bitch.
I don't know why.
Well, we've been sawing faces off forever.
Yeah.
So it's really just part of the human condition, really. They found Viking graves where the faces had been sawn off and swapped with other faces.
Well, pretty based. I don't know. Yeah.
Well,
but it was really
video
the
games that were way more violent than this. One of the Punisher games, you did all sorts of fucked up shit to people for their
Mortal
executions.
Kombat, literally.
In Modern Warfare 2, you're an active shooter in an airport.
As far as like cinematically violent, people talk about the Modern Warfare 2 one where you gunned down a bunch of people in an airport. That one's pretty shocking. So why now and why this and who gives a shit? Like, okay, so who's caring about this?
I think what happened is there were a bunch of female streamers. There's this really great clip of a female streamer playing this game. I think it might have been Red Dead, but there's a bunny hopping along and it just gets shot with an arrow real quick. Sorry, Rabbitt. But she kind of like starts crying, and it was something similar in this. And I think a bunch of these female streamers just couldn't handle it. And so after seeing that, you know, that just weaponized their audiences. and Sony had to, deliver some kind of politically correct response.
Oh, that's funny.
White women ruining everything.
Oh,
As per usual.
Hit it again.
Oh,
White people, yay!
thank you. We love it when this shit happens. That's funny. That I wouldn't have guessed that that's exactly where this shit came from.
It is funny watching them just start to break down, and it's
Cracker
not
bitch.
even real. It's not even real. Like I'm a pretty conservative guy, but when you've seen the videos that I've seen, it's hard to be anti-immigration. Like I'd want to leave too.
Huh.
Yeah, Adam just had some horrible video flash through his mind.
Well, so why? Okay, there's been
Shut
a lot
him
of
down.
games. There's been a lot of games that have been edited and like gone off of their original artistic vision. One of the ones that we brought up was Fallout 3, and that they originally wanted Med-X to be called Morphine, but they changed it because of the ESRB, and Australia was talking about just banning the game altogether. And so they scaled it back quite a bit. And so they changed one thing, so it's the idea that once you change one thing, you might as well have changed everything.
Yeah, it lessens the integrity of the art. I feel like they should also release an edited version, raw and uncut or whatever,
Or
raw
at least,
and face cut.
or at least make it so you have to opt in to see the face or something like that because it's so graphic and edgy. You could even use it to market.
It's a horror game about a dead girl. I don't know what they were expecting.
I don't know.
Dumb
Oh, who did they think was going to play this?
cracker bitch.
So, but let's get out of talking about this face cutty Sony game and into what Rabbitt has for us. Rabbitt, you had something you want to bring in this week, right?
I didn't have anything, Adam. I told you that at the top.
What? I could have sworn you had something you were working on. All right, I'm tripping. Well,
You fucker, Rabbit's here just to shit on me, just to lessen my my integrity as a co-host.
okay.
He's just here for witty remarks.
So this is from guess the outlet that wrote this headline. Rapping finance TikTok influencer and husband accused of conspiracy to launder $4.5 billion in crypto.
I was gonna bring this in, but you had already told me that you were doing it.
We run a real tight ship here. Folks.
Yeah, who do you think wrote that there, Flo?
This didn't happen in America, did it?
Yeah, this happened in America.
Oh shit, it did. Maybe I'll go with New York Post.
This is Gizmodo.
Gizmo. Okay.
So I've been having a lot of fun with this story because I have been lying to so many people about this. It's been so fun. It's a ridiculous story, and for certain people that I'm like vaguely acquaintances with, even my fucking parole officer, I was just like, hey, I got a letter from the Department of Justice saying that I got a couple $1 million coming to me, and it's in litigation right now, but once they have it settled, they'll let me know. And I'm like, yeah, I had all this cryptocurrency back in 2016, and, I had a couple grand of the stuff, and it just got stolen. I forgot about it, and little do I know they recovered it. And I just used this story as an excuse to jump off and to just dry telling people that I might be a millionaire, and I'll have them going all the way to all the way, and then I'll just be like, oh my god, I can't handle it anymore. I totally made that shit up.
You've been telling me that. That's funny as fuck.
It's a great way to like spend a good 10-12 minutes bullshitting with somebody.
Oh yeah, little lunch break chat.
Yeah. So, what do you know about these crypto people that are being accused of this crime here, Flo? What do you know about this?
I know that, I think in that article you sent me, there's a related video, and it says crypto cringe rapper out on bail. I mean, I don't know much about him. I know like the thing with cryptocurrency is that you still have to launder it after you convert it into another currency. Just the way things are set up, and it sounds like they just had so much that it would have just been through sheer negligence that it wasn't traced back to them, or they didn't pay off the right people.
Damn it, Rabbit, I see what you're doing. Are you bringing up the fucking soundboard of these fucking freaks of nature?
You didn't want me to play it.
Okay, look, I can take it like one more time. So I've already heard this shit, and I just didn't want to hear it again.
I'm only going to give you 4 seconds of it. Just because we're talking about it, because I have it prepared. Here's what our sweet little Razzle Khan's rap music sounds like.
Bad bitch, motherfucking bad bitch.
Do you think they were doing this ironically?
I don't think so. I think that there's too much work. I think that they've done too much into it. And if you look at their image, they're like these nerdy loser people that totally would think of themselves this way.
Yeah.
Like, they think that they're like, oh, little do they know that everything that we do is awesome. We're billionaires.
Yeah, she's like, she has this idea of herself of being like because she was like in Forbes talking about like how she is so successful as an entrepreneur.
She's written like hundreds of articles, at least 100. Like, I saw the page get scrolled by, and I'm just like, whoa, this bitch wrote a bunch of shit for Forbes. Holy crap. And little do you know that the true financial advice is just to steal a bunch of shit that's going to end up, basically steal stocks of Amazon in 2001.
Oh yeah, the true billionaire genius entrepreneur here is Mr. Ilya Lichtenstein.
Right.
God, when we were first talking about this, you just showed me a zoomed in thing of the Liechtenstein thing.
Oh,
and then it was just said Liechtenstein money laundering Manhattan. It's like, can you not talk about this? And I'm like, oh man.
I was gonna say, how do you think all of the great wealth has ever been amassed throughout?
I mean, it's
I wonder how this wealth gets amassed, you know. So these people, they have to be the most stereotypical fucking people on the planet. Have you seen Alien getting his fucking hair cut by his wife?
Yeah.
Oh my God. I mean,
he almost looks like he could be Slavic. That forehead and small face.
It makes me think that this is like an elaborate ruse where these people that stole this money created this fucking idea of these people back then and said, you're going to method act for 6 years as I pay you millions of dollars to be these people because they are just caricatures of what people should be.
That's what I was saying. What if like they were having fun with it at the same time? I mean, it seems stupid because it's going to make your visibility so much higher, but I wouldn't be surprised if they had the money, if they just had to launder this money. What better than an overproduced music video, you know?
Man, to quote Dolly Parton, look, it's real expensive to look that cheap. And like the how cringy it is, the people didn't want to look over there. So they got away with having billions of dollars in Bitcoin for fucking years. They didn't know they had billions of dollars, but they knew they had hundreds of millions for sure. And why they stayed in America and didn't like fuck off to Barbados or whatever the fuck and get their own private army, like trying to pull a McAfee or something. I don't know. They just decided to hang out in New York and complain about the pandemic and just be real cucky and on Instagram in New York for years on end. That's what they decided to do.
They just wanted to be annoying liberal New Yorkers. They wanted to be New Yorkers.
The video that was in the article that you linked is private now. That's crazy.
It's all archived.
Oh, I'm sure. It's just funny that they took it down from their main.
The government decided to be a bunch of fucking assholes. They stole NFTs. They stole fizzy lifting. Yeah, the government stole fizzy lifting drinks. Okay, NFTs are supposed to be like this safe way of owning things on the internet, except for all the government has to do is go to the exchange and say, gimme, we're taking this. And then the exchange goes, oh no, daddy government, govern me harder. And they just hand that shit over. Because that's what happened with all the NFTs for Razzle Khan's music. Because this shit happened, well, it's like owning a legitimate Hitler painting or something. Its value is going to go up. Mm-hmm. So people wanted them, and the government stole them. They said it was ill-gotten gains.
Yeah, you still have to sell it at some point, and so because you have to buy it with a fiat currency until you can buy it with cryptocurrency, and those have their own intrinsic values. You're still in the network of the clearinghouses and the banks and the Federal Reserve and everything. And that's, Uncle Sam will snatch that no problem. There's some dude at the DOJ with like a digital picture frame.
This is such a crazy story because it's the largest recovering of money ever by a huge margin. They just got back billions of dollars. And normies don't even know how to deal with talking about Bitcoin. They're already making a movie from the people that made Tiger King, so they're making a documentary about these crazy people.
Oh God!
Wait, documentary about the Tiger King?
About Razzle Khan and the stealing of all this Bitcoin. So they didn't even spend a lot of the money. If you've seen the flow charts, they've bought a bunch of $750 Walmart gift cards. Whoopity fucking do. They don't have hippos in a garden somewhere like this. There's nothing that crazy. There's no Pablo Escobar shit happening. So who even cares? Even though they got retarded amounts of money, it was all internet funny money. None of it mattered.
Yeah. And to that, I will say I wish every crypto fag a very lose all of your money while I fund your wife.
Yeah, man. I retired from crypto after the real surge earlier last year or something like that. I'm pretty pumped about that because I made my money. I wasn't greedy, and it is to the point now where it's being propped up by money launderers and things of that nature. And yeah, it's one of those things. You got to be in on it if you want to.
Just trying not to be the greatest fool.
Yeah. Well, let's get out of talking about these weird Bitcoin people and get into our favorite segment, To Catch a Redditor. So let's see what Reddit has to say about these cryptocurrency people.
From r/cryptocurrency, DeWin31 writes, how I built a multi-million-dollar business with no outside funding in my 20s. Fucking crooks, thieves, and liars. All social media influencers. Says a lot that Forbes had her as a paid contributor. Journalism is shit. Just remember this next time we get all excited about some schmuck we'd never heard of talking good about things or recommending strategies or specific investments. A literal ham sandwich writes, she's cute though. DeWin31 replies, not after you watch all the videos. But she rhymed cheesy with cheesy.
Kodak.
King.
Kodak.
Never mind. Hell yeah.
There was a guy, and it hurts me so bad that I can't remember who it was or what podcast I was listening to. It wasn't somebody super, the podcast wasn't very popular. It was some freedom of speech, Republitard thing, but he basically just pretended to be an expert, and he'd go around giving people to write books about and doing articles and interviews, and he would just pretend to be an expert on antique clocks or electric vehicles or this or that, and it was all complete bullshit. And so he compiled all this into a book and then released it, but I can't remember who or what that was.
I gotta think
being don't worry, I'm an expert.
Exactly. I'm an academic.
I'll tell you who's an expert on comedy is Dave Chappelle. See what Reddit has to say about his ass.
From r/Dave Chappelle, the Vladimir Poutine writes, my first thought when I read this headline was, what the fuck, Dave Chappelle? But the voice in my head sounded like Dave Chappelle, so I was just confused. From what I read, the development company can now just build the same project but without the affordable housing part, so I guess he won? Side note, it's a cross, not a crossed. With Nail writes, but would he be against it if it was actually affordable housing for lower income people? Isn't his problem the nearness to his property and not what it's for? I honestly don't know Dave's views on my question. Old Harold Delaney writes, pretty good take in my opinion, but nothing new in that video that hasn't been said in this subreddit. Strange hard right turn later about how we shouldn't be helping the Ukraine and we should spend that money instead on affordable housing.
Oh.
I feel so bad for the Ukrainians, dude. Like, they had the craziest revolution ever where they were just running at people with guns, and then they got someone else in, and now it's like starting all over again.
I feel bad for this subreddit. Imagine where you're like, hey guys, you hear about this shit with Dave Chappelle? And then immediately it goes into, why are we spending money on the fighting war in the Ukraine? It should all go to the affordable housing that wasn't in that bill that was in Dave Chappelle. It's like, come on, guys. Can we stay on topic for like a fucking second here?
No, we can't. It's Reddit. You know that.
Oh god, let's see.
Everyone goes on Reddit to talk about their thing.
Like you were saying, Adam, they were just trying to be greedy and maximize the amount of people they can house per square foot, and because that's how you can make more money with a property, is dividing it up among different tenants.
Let's see what Reddit has to say about Louise Theroux.
From r/Louis Theroux, RedVRZ writes, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but just search on YouTube. I just watched it on there. Tao Fifi says, thanks. RedVRZ writes, no problem. Enjoyed. It was good. Nice to see someone else picking Louis over the Super Bowl. Microbe writes, as someone put it, this is a very broken human. Zero contact with the real world. Everything he knows is through the internet, through the lens of these alt-right losers. Aren't these the types that are calling for a race war? They would be the first to shit themselves at any kind of violence. Joseph Fallen 90 writes, as a final note, I've never wanted to hit someone square in the face more than that beardy cunt, as he laughed maniacally after saying he was going to rape that lass.
He's talking about Beardson saying that he was going to rape Brittany Venti. It was a pretty unhinged rant he went off of, but yeah, Beardson is a loser.
Oh, man.
Yeah, Louis Theroux is always just like nobody. You ask any normie who's Nick Fuentes, who's Baked Alaska, they're not going to know. It's not something that's like deeply ingrained in American culture.
No one.
I mean, I don't know.
Fucking D-Live streamers, Trovo streamers.
Oh yeah, they've been banned off of everything and only exist on the darkest corners of the internet.
They had to.
If you're
Alex
a fan
Jones
of Ethan Ralph, then maybe you'll know who Nick Fuentes is.
Exactly. Nick Fuentes has Cozy TV, and I think Baked maybe did some of like the IP2 because he's more of an IRL streamer. But yeah, they've all got kicked off everything that's centralized.
All right,
therefore profitable.
Let's see
Central and they go.
Let's see what Reddit has to say about Sony.
From r/limited print games. Totoro writes, if Sony wants to be a content curator, I don't understand why they're letting the flood of $1 quick platinum shovelware onto their platform. That said, only a Sith speaks in absolutes. I realize there are a handful of counterexamples where the content's particularly appalling and a denial of release and or AO rating might be appropriate. Francis Greenslade writes, ever since Sony headquarters moved to California, they've gone full retard. Don Compliance and Ware writes, you know what's incredibly jarring to me? In 2022, Nintendo is the company that censors little, as far as I know, and Sony's the one that's curtailing shit. Tinker Toy Muffin writes, weirdly enough, if the reports are true about what is precisely being censored, a scene involving cutting someone's face off, then honestly I think I'm more likely to buy it. Like, I don't support compromising a team's creative vision, but stuff like that makes me have a visceral reaction of the worst kind. I was already going to pick it up, so I don't know.
Oh, that
nerd.
Weird flex, bro. Keep it in your pants.
Normally I don't agree with censorship, but I have a queasy little tummy.
I don't want my fifis to get hurt while playing a horror game about a dead person.
Dumb cracker bitch.
There it is.
Okay. Yeah.
Thanks, Larry.
So, well,
You know,
that's the
I gotta
show.
say, I love Larry Lawton.
But that's not
He's
Larry
such a
Lawton.
cool guy. Is that not Larry Lawton?
No, this is Hassan Piker.
Oh my
And
god! I thought it was that fucking Larry Lawton.
Oh, that's what got him banned, right?
The other day when you were playing fucking Prison Architect, and you're like, "Hey, check this out," and fucking Larry Lawton was in your fucking prison, like lecturing prisoners. That legit fucked with me some. I was like, God, I really do fucking hate
You really
this guy.
fucking hate this guy so much.
I'm like, why is he in video games? He's not even a gamer. Nobody gives a shit about this weird doofus. Fuck.
No, you didn't. You knew he was a fucking asshole.
Man, whatever. So, well, that's the show. Hey, Flo, you got anything you want to plug?
Check out, Rich Dickman and NFHC, as low qual as they are. They do have a rustic charm to them. If you want to get a hold of me, you can email me at floeuphoria@whitegirlsfuckdogs.com and follow me on Twitter.
Okay. Be sure to give our podcast a follow on Patreon. We got patreon.com/WGA shit show. And, throw us a couple of bucks if you want to support the show. It all goes into paying off our audio editor and other things to make running the show as painless as possible. And we appreciate everyone that supports the show. Rabbitt, you got anything you want to plug?
No, I don't got anything else. Flo, thanks for hanging out with us.
Yeah, for sure. Well, that's the show, everyone. See ya.
Bye.
Take it easy.